They'll be calling me royalty.
Hello everyone and welcome to Tier 2 Round 6 at Qatar. What an amazing track this is. I am your streamer and commentator SimplyYT. Joining me is Darknight. Hello.
Hello.
How do you think this race is going to go based off of our social race? Because we did see quite a few interesting things, which I'm pretty sure will make sense to absolutely no one once we get to it.
Yeah, I mean, this track it's extremely fun. It's one of the most flowing circuits that we have. It's new to the calendar. We have not raced here before. So it's going to be really interesting. Very less overtaking options apart from the main straight and couple of other slow corners, but it's T2, so chaos is ensured, and I guess we're going to see a very good race today.
Absolutely. I think chaos is definitely ensured, as you say. Moving on to our track map, you can see 5.8 kilometer long circuit, 16 turns, one DRS only, one DRS zone only with one detection point, of course. Decent amount of elevation changes, great moving opportunity into turn one, and of course so we're going to have plenty of overtaking going through sector 2 as well, because I'm pretty sure these drivers will feel quite brave to be making moves there, and they have the space to do it.
Yeah, extremely. I mean, we have seen in the last couple of races people like ABD, Steel Sneeze, EP10, Vicious. I mean, these guys are really quick this season. So we're going to get to see some, good moves. Hopefully, we get to see a four-way battle for the lead, but let's see how it goes. And also, the track limits are pretty difficult here to manage because yeah, there's so many. You're mostly on throttle on this circuit, and you have to flick the steering left, right, and one small understeer, and yeah, that's your lap invalidated. So let's see how the quali goes, and based on that, we'll get to see the good race today.
Exactly. A lot of invalidations are definitely expected through a couple of corners. I don't remember their names or numbers. I don't think they have any names to them at all. But yeah, uh, you know, very easy to invalidate on the second to last corner on turn 15 because, you think your car can go flat there, and then you get hit with a very big realization that you can't. So you downshift, and then you're like, okay, now my car's gripping. Then you go back on throttle, and then you realize, no, it cannot go flat again.
Again,
So
yeah.
you just end up running wide and then picking up an invalidation or a warning, which is quite easy to do. Very bumpy circuit as well. So, that will be a little bit of a test of the suspension settings of these guys, because if it's too stiff or rather too soft, then you know.
Yeah.
That suspension will go flying out of the corner of the
Also, one
car,
thing
sorry.
we didn't talk about is the ERS management on this track. It's pretty much non-existent an ERS region here. So
Yep.
we'll get to see how drivers manage it because once you dump it for any sort of move, there is no getting back unless there's a safety car or if you go in the pits you get that whatever that 20-30%. So it's going to be very very important that they save, and also fuel management, another big thing. We have noticed drivers going in an extra 2 laps of fuel and still running out. So
Yeah.
it depends on how you drive, but yeah, these two things are very very crucial for this track.
Exactly, and talking on the ERS management, we are having a sprint race for those of you unaware. So we are currently waiting for the drivers right before the one-shot qualifying session. Of course, we'll have a sprint race and then a 50%, main race. But in the sprint qualifying, actually in qualifying in general, be it sprint or not, you run out of your ERS before you can even get to
Main
before you
straight.
can even get to the main straight. Exactly. Or if your wings are slightly lower, then you run out of fuel when you get to the main straight itself, as right before the DRS. So anyways, you're bound to run out of ERS, so it becomes extremely crucial at that point that you make sure that you get a very very good exit out of the final corner, because if you don't, then that is pretty much your full you know qualifying
Yeah.
ruined as such.
Also, it's OSQ today, so we're going to see a couple of invalidations very soon, and hopefully drivers can keep it on track. Obviously,
Ex-
Vicious is now leading. He's heading towards, I believe, third for five.
yeah. And of course, purple sector 1 since he was the fastest there. But Parth is quite up there as well. I think he's picked up the pace in the last couple of races, and I think he could go for a race win here. I mean, he did. He was in our social race at least the fastest out of all of the tier 2 guys in terms of race pace. So, maybe Parth can pull off something over here. As Vish is still leading as we go on into sector 2. While we watch on board with Vicious. This is the corner I was talking on about. 6th, and you can see that a little bit of hesitation because you think your car can go flat. It cannot go flat. Final corner, 5th gear, and you can see, oh, he's actually taken it 4th. But yeah, he turns on the DRS and he's completely out of the deploy. And clearly by the looks of it, Vicious will come across the line to be on pole with Parth and P2, Jose in P3.
Very, very close. I mean, the top 4 just separated by 3/10, so very, very close qualifying.
Exactly. Clearly, these guys are leaving nothing out to be left on track as Vicious takes the pole by a 10th and a bit. Parth in P2 and Jose in P3. That's your top 3. Jose with great pace. Vision in P4. Okay, that's quite an interesting thing. E-Dog P5. Wizard of Oz P6. BK19 P7. ABD28 in P8. Nice. Kirshiv Guru P9, Fury P10, Rossi P11, Vettel Bihari Vajpayee P12, Aishwarya Raikkonen in P14, 9 in P15, Mist in P16, Vipul in P17, Nirvana P18, Stealthy Sunny P19, and Steel Sneeze in P20.
So only 3 disqualifications, so I guess some people are hesitant to even put on some power and then, climb up the ladder, but still a decent quali session by everyone.
Exactly, and I think it's better to, if you know you're in the midfield, you might as well just invalidate your lap and start from the back. Because the worst case scenario is you gain positions. Very little of them. Best case scenario, you gain a lot of positions. So, it's a win-win situation at the end of it.
And I think from the some of the tier 2 races we have seen that it's better to start from the back than
exactly
be in the midfield.
Yeah, pretty much.
Also, we'll get to see which drivers go for softs or mediums, because we saw in the social day some drivers did go for the mediums for the sprint race and some went for the softs. So yeah, and also another thing that we did notice was the tire, which was kind of the same for like all tires in terms of performance. So it's a very, very weird circuit, very, very weird in this game that, we have pretty much similar performance or, marginal difference between the tire wears. So yeah, it'll be an interesting thing to watch out.
Exactly, and the ready up message has gone through, so these guys will be going to ready up very, very soon now, and we'll be able to see them on the grid in just a moment's time. I mean, obviously, you can't see the timer on screen because spectator glitch once again. But I can promise you they have readied up. Give it a couple seconds and we'll be there. Clear skies in Qatar. Let me put out a very interesting fact for you here. According to the game's code, there's a 1 in 3 million chance that it will rain in Qatar.
1 in 3 million. Wow.
Yes.
Not bad odds.
Not bad odds. And not bad odds for the 5 lights to go out over here, as they have, and we have begun racing in Tier 2 in the sprint race. Vicious leading away the pack on a pair of mediums, where we can see Jose Hero and Parth momentarily going side by side before Vision overtook, and there's contact between Parth and Vision over here. Vision trying to make a move round the outside, clearly didn't work out for him, and he is lucky to get away, and that is a virtual safety car already. And I believe there is some collision. Yep, broken wings for Steel Sneeze, and is missed with a broken wing. Yeah. Oh, 3 cars have collided. That's Major Vipul getting in that whole collision as well. Where has Mist gone? I am not sure, but he's back on track. But yeah, a decent start from these guys, and definitely quite interesting to see the tire choices. Some of them are on medium, some of them not.
Yeah. Also, a lot of drivers have gone for medium, which is quite the opposite because we saw in social days people are going for the softs. So I think people have realized that the tire wear, maybe it's better to go for the mediums, be safe in that regard. And but one thing is that you lose a set of mediums for the main race. So in case a safety car comes out, you might have to go out to the hards, which is not ideal. But yeah, and the VSC is off, and Vision is right on the tail of Jose Hero. And Vicious has obviously pulled a 1.2 second lead from Parth. So yeah, now I think it's up to Parth to push and try to close into the gap and get into his DRS by lap 3.
Exactly, and that's Fury pulling off into the pits as Rossi made a move back here on I think Vettel Bihari Vajpayee and BK19 going side by side going into turn 1, and BK19 having to back off just a little bit because Rossi's car was blocking him quite easily, and that gives Vettel Bihari Vajpayee a very good chance to just stay on the tail of BK19 and make a move when absolutely necessary, and continue just following him as we move further back into the pack. We can see Nirvana on the rear of 9, who I think 9 just passed just a moment ago, missed Vipul and Fury, all three of them in the pit still. Clearly a very, very long pit stop, and I don't think it really was required for them to pit since it's a sprint race, and you just end up using your race tires. Actually, allocation is Aldi Sunny loose on the rear as he tried to make a move on Ashwari Raikkonen. Did not work out for him.
Also, I think we need to go to Wizard of Oz, who's right on the tail of Vision. So yeah, he's going to chase him very, very closely. And as you saw, Vision was right behind Jose, so I think he's clearly lost time, and now he's under attack from Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, Jose Hero has moved up into P3. Wizard doing whatever he can to get past Vision because his teammate E-Dog is right behind him. And of course, E-Dog looking to pounce on Wizard and making it an Alfa Romeo 4-5. Whereas, of course, Jose trying to move up to his teammate, as we can see just in the rear. BK19 and Rossi now going side by side. BK19 having to take a switchback line there. Both are going side by side through turn 2 now. And maybe there's some contact, but somehow they're both still on track. And no! Just as I say that, BK19 goes off spinning after hitting the rear of Rossi. And he is in the gravel. Hopefully he isn't beached. No, he can keep the car moving. He can keep the momentum going. So that is good for BK. But yeah, going from a pretty much good points paying position to this, an unfortunate situation for sure for BK.
That's Commentator's curse 1 for today. So hopefully we don't increase the count 1 by 1. But it's unfortunate for BK19 who has tried to make that move and it did not stick.
Exactly, and ooh, that's Rossi. Okay, he's lagging a bit, which could be very dangerous for 9, who's trying to make a move on Rossi, but it's not really working out too well for him because obviously he has to hesitate a little bit when the car ahead is jittering all over your screen and you don't know actually where they are. As you could just see once again a little bit of a lag spike from Rossi there.
Also, can we bring up the telemetry so we can see what ERS levels are there? And
Sure.
oh my god, yeah, and he already started spamming, and it's very crucial that you don't spam so much because it's going to come. You later know it. Like right now, it'll be fine, but later when you do need it, it's not going to regenerate.
Exactly.
Also, Vision is right behind Jose. It's just 2 tenths, and also Jose is right behind Parth. Okay, so Parth has disconnected.
No, he's made a mistake somewhere because he was ghosted. So, okay.
No,
okay.
Has
now you have Commentator's cursed him because now he disconnected. Before he wasn't disconnected.
So that's another. So that's number 2 for today. But again, unfortunate for Parth, another disconnection when he's doing so well. But I know that he's got the pace, so hopefully in the main race he can make up the places.
Yeah, and the 59 AI is not helping his case either because he's just, I mean, he lost like 5 positions in a matter of 1 corner. So, you know, it's not a good day for Parth to begin with.
Yeah. But he's got the pace. It's, you know, we saw it in quali, so I'm sure he'll make it up the bridge in the main race. And obviously E-Dog right behind. And the thing with E-Dog, I think we discussed this for the last couple of races. He's the kind of guy who might not qualify up ahead, but he's very, very consistent, making up places and, trying to get in those extra points. And then that's why the Alpha Boys are leading at the Constructors' Championship.
Exactly, and a great move by E-Dog once again, securing a P3 and P4 after paths disconnect. So far, we're only halfway into the sprint race, so I don't want to jinx them and then be blamed for it later on. But yeah, great move by E-Dog nonetheless.
Also Stealthy, Sunny. Oh, and they do make contact, slightly a tap. And this corner is very, very tricky because it's, I think, one of the few slow corners on this track. So you have to be very careful, and especially going at those high speeds. It's pretty tricky to manage, especially when you're following through with that dirty air.
Yeah, Dirty Air is a big player in this track as well, of course. It really loves taking a toll, especially through Sector 3, as these guys are going these triple right-handers. They eat away from the tires, they eat away from a driver's arms, and of course, they eat away... Oh no! Stealthy Sunny somehow has spun on the exit of that corner of the second last corner of turn 15 there, and he has collected a wing of a car that was right behind of that Steel Sneeze. I'm pretty sure. So Steel Sneeze has some amounts of wing damage, definitely, and that is going to be a big hindrance as Aishwarya Raikkonen closes down on him.
That's an end plate con. So now he's going to start understeering, and it's very, very important. This track, it's notorious for having, even with the slightest damage, it can screw it up. So yeah, and I think Stealthy Sunny, I think he went over the curb and bottomed out there, and it's very tricky because when you take, it's a very fast left-hander, and then you go slightly wide, you go on the curb, and you're pretty much just throttling on basically the race portion of it.
Yep, and as we just saw very briefly in the back, if you're looking at the grid, that it was Steady Sunny that was getting passed by a couple of drivers, and obviously the tires will be quite hot for him. Oh, there's a move right up ahead between Vision and Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz, who is in P3 now after getting past Vision. Unfortunately, not a good place to make a move because Vision has the DRS, and without even using DRS, I think he'll be able to get by. Can his teammate perform a double overtake over here? No, there is little bit of collisions, and ABD has to suffer because of that. He's fallen back down to P7 after all of that. Left end plate. His left end plate is missing. Lucky for him, not a lot of left-hand corners in this circuit, so not the end of the world for him. But yeah, it's really hindering him over here.
Yeah.
Very, very clear to see.
Just like once a legend said, too many collisions, man.
Perhaps a crash party as well.
Yeah.
Anyways, 9, who's at P6 actually, contrary to his name, is trying to chase down on E-Dog.
So he's made up quite a few positions, so he's also doing very, very well. And
9 positions.
Yeah, and these guys are in a DRS train right now, and as you can see, Vision going side by side with Wizard of Oz, and this is kind of you have to play DRS chicken because the straight is very, very long and it's very crucial that you have the DRS. And as you can see, E-Dog, who's right side by side with his teammate, trying to make a move, and Wizard of Oz getting zoned right here on the main straight. And E-Dog goes down the inside, makes that move, and he's up to P3 with Vision up to P4, and Wizard of Oz losing 2 positions in the span of 1 straight.
Yeah, and that was, I think, a double overtake of some sort because E-Dog going from P5 to P3 Clearly, his teammate did help him a little bit. Oh, that is Wizard of Oz getting really loose, and he
Yeah.
is off the track. Is he beached? No, luckily
No.
he can still keep on going, but he is quite far behind. Careful of the rejoined Wizard. But yeah, Vicious will be very, very pissed off because his teammate was there, at least in the top 5. Now it's not even that, as the battle still continue on with ABD, and so does his suffering as he has also dropped down into P9, and clearly that collision is not helping his race out at all, as that's Wizard of Oz who also flies past him.
Flies past him, yeah. Also, Fury with a 3-second time penalty. Also, Jose has a time penalty, so that's not going to help his case. And luckily, he's 3 seconds off from EDOC, so he'll be delighted with that for now. But yeah, 9 making up a position now up to P4, so he's charging, through the ladder. He's going to chase EDOC for that P3. So great drive from him right now.
Yeah, and I think a P3 is pretty much maybe even a P. Okay, no, E-Dog is about 3 seconds away from Jose, so Jose actually might end up keeping that P2 despite getting those 3 seconds, because E-Dog, 9 and Vision, they're pretty much fighting it with all that they have, giving it all of them. And yeah, that they will end up losing out on a potential P2 if they continue fighting like this. Gap is only 3/10. If they can secure those 3/10 in the upcoming lap and a half, they can all move up a position, or they could all just stay wherever they are and just give Jose another fight with Vicious in the main race.
Yeah. And E-Dog is already started to flash. I think 30%, something like that. The lights are flashing. So he's also out of DRS. And we can see 9 with a great exit out of the final corner now with the DRS. So he's going to be making a move, and he does make a move, a very simple move. And he's now up to P3. And he can go, if he can close in that 3/10, then he might get that P2.
Exactly, and clearly he's already gaining quite a lot of time in the free air. So he was being held up. Some things are happening back here between Wizard of Oz, Battle Bear, Watchway, and Gear Shift Guru, as Wizard of Oz was pretty much taken out once again. Luckily, he's in P9 and he lives to see another day. However, he was, at this point, if he got taken out, he would have been far behind, like in P12, P13. Yeah. So he's lucky that he didn't get taken out. But yeah, final lap. All eyes on these guys to see what they can do. And 9, after gaining time in the first sector on Jose, has lost all of the time. So I think Jose will happily keep that P2. Aishwarya Raikkonen also with the 3 seconds. As I think he's lost some positions here to Stealthy Sunny as well as APD. And I'm sorry, but that car of APD is holding up a full train over here. He goes off wide, but that is of no issues, as Vicious comes across the line to win the sprint race. Jose Hero, this is a battle almost to the line. Unfortunately, not enough for E-Dog. It was almost a battle to the line, and I think, Aishwarya Raikkonen almost hitting the rear of ABD once again, and of course ABD. Another little bit of collision there between ABD and Aishwarya Raikkonen, still side by side, and Aishwarya having to go off wide. ABD picks up the slipstream. Can he stay ahead of Parth's AI? I think that's pretty much a yes. He overtakes Aishwarya Raikkonen on the final straight. That is some amazing stuff by ABD there. And completely right unexpected.
Yeah, and right at the line. What's that? Who crashed? Bihari, yeah.
Aishwarya, it was Aishwarya.
Aishwarya, oh my god. That was an entire, ERS dump from his side to keep that position. So that was fun. Also, Whipwood was to 32 seconds behind P18, so not a good race from him. also carrying a 3-second time penalty, I believe.
Yeah, he's just going to cruise to home now as he's 30 seconds behind P18 itself and almost lapped by the AI of Vicious who finished the race quite a long time ago. So that is
Yeah.
that. And that is just sprint race over. With Vipul finishing in 19th, and I don't know. It was
Okay,
one
yeah,
hell of a
9.
sprint race.
Yeah,
Vicious in P1. Jose got to keep his P2. E-Dog
9
in
with that
P3.
charge. No, 9 with P3. E-Dog with
Oh
P4.
yeah, apologies. 9 with P3, E-Dog with P4. Vision with P5. Rossi, despite the efforts, P6. Geshift Guru P7 and Vettel Vihari Vajpayee final points pink position in the sprint race in P8. Wizard was P9, Nirvana P10, Deadshot PK19, P12, Stealth P13, ABD 28 P14, Parth P15, Ashwarya P16, Mist P17, Fury P18, Vipul P19, and Steel Sneeze in P20.
Good try from 9. You know, I don't know where he started on the grid, but I think he started further down. So to make that charge up to P3, a great result from him.
Yep, great stuff. And I think if 9 can keep this performance up, then potentially in the main race we could see him up in the podium interviews. But I think I've just cursed him. Darky, can you just check your DM for one brief second?
Yeah.
All right. We are just waiting on the drivers to ready up for the main race. Some solid action coming up ahead of us at Qatar on the Qatar Grand Prix. I'm just a little bit exhausted after that sprint race. But I think a very good chance of safety car here, at least in the main race, because a lot more to play for. So clearly, the guys are going to push a lot more than they really want to try and keep those positions. Because now it's not just top 8, but it's top 15 who get points.
Yeah.
So, it makes sense that they want to push more, but that also means more mistakes will kick in. And of course, we could potentially see some race ending stuff at some point.
Yeah. And this track obviously we're seeing right now. The one thing is to qualify up ahead, and the other thing is to keep that consistency. It's a very flowing track, so once you get into the rhythm, I think it's pretty easy to cruise through. But if you have cars around you, if you have dirty air around you, it's going to be a tough ask to make up positions.
Exactly. As we've mentioned earlier, the dirty air doesn't help the fact that there's only one DRS zone doesn't help either, because there are, in my opinion, some places where perhaps they could have added a DRS zone, but then again, FIA would have done it in F1 2018 if you remember that game. I mean, that game had a DRS zone wherever
Yeah,
they possibly could fit it, 17 and 18. So if we had
yeah,
such a scenario now as well, then on every little straight we would have had DRS. And in my opinion, that would have been nice, because that would have created a little bit more overtaking opportunities, a little bit less ERS use, a little bit less fuel use. The
yeah,
tires would have had the chance to cool off a little bit as well. But fine, it is what it is. This track is pretty much a driver's track, although even the drivers don't like it too much.
yeah.
But yeah, I think the five lights do like going out in just a second here. Long one, and five lights are out. Lights out, and away we go with Wishes getting a very good start. Vision getting an even better start, going side by side with 9, actually ahead of 9 going into turn 1, with Rossi as well making up a great move, with E-Dog having to sit back down and just wait for a chance to get past these guys, as looks like they might have settled, but E-Dog clearly wanting to make up as many more positions as he possibly can. Moving back to P9, we can see Wizard of Oz. Apologies. Here you go. This is P9. Wizard of Oz has gotten past Bihari Vajpayee. He was having a look down the inside of Nirvana to try and get that P7, but it's good that he didn't go for that, because that would have definitely ended up in a bit of collision. As we can see, a few more battles just kicking off in the back, with ABD moving up into P11 already after that very bad sprint race from him, and a great move down the inside by ABD28, moving up into P10, and he will obviously keep his eyes on P9 after that. As we can see, 9, who had to give up the position to Vision, is up into who's still in P4, has closed it a little bit while using basically no ERS. He is on 100%, and he is still tailing him. Jose Hero up in the front with just the slipstream and the ERS, flies past Vicious. Let's get the tires going as well, and yeah, that makes sense. He's on the softs to begin with. Could be the race winning strategy here, because the hards really aren't a very good race tire. 9 on the other hand, going through turn 2, almost getting past Vision once again.
Yeah. And, we have seen the soft strategy, the tire wears, the tire performance pretty much is almost similar. I wouldn't say it's exactly the same, but it's very similar. And as we can see, ABD making a move right down the inside, and he's up to P9. And as I was talking, I think, we have seen the tire performance because you're on throttle all the time, so it doesn't make much of a difference. So it's like that slight difference between how much wear do you have on the tires. But yeah, the soft tires could be the winning strategy.
Exactly, and I think a soft medium could definitely help, be up there in the race. As you can see, Gearshift Guru, who is tailing the car in P10. He's not struggling too much. The dirty air won't be too much of an issue just yet, as we see Aishwarya Raikkonen getting past Stealthy Sunny, and both the Ferrari guys not sure what they're doing, because Mist tried making a move on Stealthy Sunny there, and 9 has made a move on Vision without the use of DRS, and he's up into P3, while the drivers around just keep on going ahead. As we can see, Jose Hero, he's already pulled off a gap of 1 second, but considering he's on the softs, he's on a very aggressive strategy. He needs to push a lot more for that strategy to work. Otherwise, he will be sat there like a sitting duck. And oh, that is Wizard of Oz, who has spun out once again. Is he beached? No, he's got the car going. Not beached yet. Very good stuff. But I mean, these sort of mistakes when you're trying to fight for the Constructors' Championship is not good in the slightest.
Okay, and that... did he have contact with the McLaren driver?
No, Parth is disconnected once again.
Disconnected, yes. But that rejoin was pretty sketchy. I mean, good that Parth wasn't there, but yeah, if there was another driver, it would have been a slight bit of chaos, to say the very least. And Stealthy Sunny right at the tail of Aishwarya Raikkonen. So the Ferrari boys are hoping to, clear off the Haas and, make up that position, because obviously they did not have a very good sprint race, so they'll be hoping to score some decent amount of points for the main race.
Exactly, as we can see up ahead, 9 got very close to Vicious. Was about to make a move, but then the straight ended, so that was the end of that attack. But I think let's check the ERS, shall we? Ooh, okay. That's some interesting stuff. Vision is okay, not Vision, apologies. Jose is very low on the ERS, with Vicious having the second highest and 9 of course having the most amount of ERS of the top 3. And I don't think it is a good decision to use that ERS just yet, because he can keep behind and collect up a little bit more, so that when he does want to go for the attack, he'll have a lot more to play with, and of course he can pull away using that as well.
Also,
Jose in the lead
ABD
by 2 seconds.
Yeah, and also ABD, the other Mercedes driver, making up positions one by one. So he's also doing well. And as we can see, makes a move on Aisha Raikkonen down the inside. So great move by him. He's now up to P14. So the Ferrari boys are slowly climbing up the ladder. And now ABD, who's making a move down the inside in the final turn. And of course, he does have the DRS. So he's safe from getting eaten up, or maybe he isn't, because E-Dog, who has just made a move into turn 1, and they're going side by side. Will they make contact? No. And ABD keeps the position.
Yeah, great stuff by ABD up ahead as well. Vicious getting passed by 9. Apologies for missing that. But oh, that is E-Dog once again. Little bit on the understeery side of things. Nirvana is pretty much out of the ERS and braking very, very early. And we can see Gearshift Guru on his gearbox. Tell him to just go a little bit faster. Come on.
Yeah.
Don't slow down that much. And Parth just, again, he's once again left the session. He's just not having a good day at all.
Gearshift Guru wanting to, go up a gear, trying to overtake Nirvana, but it's not happening. But all he has to do is be patient, wait till the DRS straight, because once he gets that, it'll be easy just to fly past him.
All about the patience. It's all about the patience. Especially tracks like this, you also have Podium, which we had last week.
Yeah.
They're all about the patience. High downforce tracks, obviously, it's not easy to make a move. Very easy to spin out, though, clearly, as BK19 portrays that very, very nicely. That is once again a swap for positions between Vicious and 9, who has closed in quite a bit. And yep, he will be tailing him once again. Having looked down the inside, not going for it.
And this battle is actually helping Jose Hero, because he doesn't have to do any battle. All he has to do is in clean air, just pull away as much as he can. And that's what he's doing right now. And this three-way battle for P11 with Deadshot, leading the pack. Oh, and
broken wing.
There is contact. There is contact with BK19. So I guess he lost an end plate right there. And like we discussed, that slow corner is, you have to be very careful, especially when you have a car ahead of you and it brakes slightly early. And I guess he did not manage to do that.
Yeah, it is on the driver behind to make sure that he's not the one, causing a collision, hitting the driver ahead. But clearly BK getting a little bit impatient there, as he does end up breaking his front right end plate. And we saw with ABD in the sprint race how much just even the minderest of damages causes a very, very big inconvenience on this track. And another big inconvenience for Vicious, because Jose is just pulling away once again as 9 moves up into P2.
Yeah, 9 and Vicious clearly on similar pace, on same tires. So all they are doing is, playing a game of after you every lap. And as we can see, ABD is also made up quite a few positions. Okay. Jose Hero with the 3 seconds. He got away with it in the sprint. But here, if there is a safety car, it's not going to turn out well. So all he has to do is hope that the other drivers behind him do get the 3 seconds, so he's kind of safe. But he needs to be very careful, because this track is notorious for picking up penalties.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think he can get away with it now, because it is, as you said, extremely easy to pick up penalties. It is very, very hard to pull away, and being on a very aggressive strategy on what Jose is just means that that aggressive strategy will have to become even more aggressive. His tires are already quite worn at this point, being on the softs. They'll start dropping off now, so you can see him losing the pace to 9 a little bit, whereas the hards will pick up the pace around at this point and become the faster tire. So Jose not helping himself in the slightest, as he'll have to pit in the next 3-4 laps, which will definitely result in some sorts of disruptions for his race.
Yeah. And the 3-second gap that he thought you had is now down to 3 tenths. So, yeah, he needs to be now very careful and not pick up any more penalties if he wants to keep that lead of the race. And obviously, E-Dog right up the tail of ABD, and ABD on the softs. I'm sure the softs are starting to wear out, and the drop off is quite huge after a point. So he'll start to struggle, and sector 2, sector 3, where it's crucial to have that tire performance. And now it's the time where he'll come into play and he'll start dropping back a couple of positions.
Yep, and that is Stealthy Sunny as well, who has disconnected from this race. That I think the race has calmed down a little bit now. No
Yeah.
one is too one another, or at least the gaps are maintaining a little bit.
Yeah.
So now is when we get into that, and Jose Hero, not the first drivers to pit, but first of the leaders to pit. Don't tell me he picks up a 5 seconds. Come on, Jose. Be careful as you go into the pits. And yep, he is on the soft strategy. He can go on until about lap 20, lap 21, go on to softs and finish the race on that. Let's see, where will Jose Hero come out? I think
P12?
P13 possibly?
P13,
Yeah, he's come out P13. Wizard of Oz almost got him, but yeah, that almost will be one big regret, because the second Jose's tires heat up, he'll be flying. I think we can see a fastest lap picked up from him, as he is side by side with Wizard of Oz, but it's not really much of a battle. 8-lap old hards versus completely fresh mediums. It's like a generational difference. So
right now.
so yeah, Jose would be flying now, looking to make up as many positions as he possibly can. E-Dog, on the other hand, on the rear of ABD 28, I think ABD will be pitting this lap because his teammate has pit already. Parth has retired from this race oh no, he's got the glitch. He's not retired on track because of purpose. He's got the glitch. That is a very, very bad day for Parth, man. And if you don't know what the glitch I'm talking about, it's something that has been... Oh, everybody has stayed out. But yeah, it's a glitch that has been haunting the lives of these drivers, because essentially what that is while you're driving the car, randomly you'll get disconnected, and there's a very high chance that you end up getting retired, because for whatever reason your AI thinks it's the best option to just retire from the race rather than continue on ghosted. So it just retires from this race, and that is what has happened to Parth. So pointless in sprint race and pointless now in the main race. A horrible day, and of course a very, very good day to forget for Parth.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, Cody's that glitch works on the Alpine logic. Just retire, just don't even bother. But yeah, it is, and obviously, if the race is slightly slowed down, like you said, I mean, the drivers, I think right now everyone is on pretty much on a cruise right now, just trying to pump in those laps, keep it consistent basically, and as they pit for new tires, I think they'll start pushing, and yeah, and hopefully, if we do get a safety car to make things interesting, then we might get to see a bit more action than what it is right now.
Exactly, and since there might be a little bit of... Okay, no, there's not going to be a lead change just yet. If you don't mind, I'll quickly go ahead and invite Stealthy Sunny back.
Yeah.
Apologies,
As there is no action, I'll probably give you some unnecessary, or what do you say, a fun fact about Qatar. Qatar has a coastline of 563 kilometers. So there you go, a random fact for no reason.
Okay, that is interesting.
And ABD also pits, so now he's come out P12. So now he's also on a fresh set of mediums. And now he'll also be looking to making moves, up the grid. And and he does have quite the pace. So let's see what he does from his side. And also, while at that, we've seen Vicious and Nine closely following each other, just changing positions every lap. So we'll get to see when they pit, because I think you pit around lap 13, 14, something like that, if I'm not wrong, depending on the tire wear. So yeah.
Apologies, I have a bit of a cold. But yeah, you pit around lap 13, 14, exactly what you said, because the tire wear up until the 50% mark is quite similar on all the tires, but then beyond that point it does cool down, and the hards actually take a very, very long time to wear out after that point. So, Jose Hero, not what he needs when he's trying to make a comeback here. He had gone past Mist, got too impatient with Nirvana, and now he's having to lose a lot of time. He could have gotten the move done on the final corner itself rather than having to do it into turn 1 now. That could have saved him at least a second there, but
I think he dumped his ERS also. Can we just check the ERS level?
Oh yeah, he fully has.
Yeah, 24% only. So yeah, that did cost him quite a bit of time and ERS, which won't help him later when he does, fight for that lead. So all he has to do is, try to avoid such battles, try to, be patient, make those moves quickly, and, go up the grid and not waste any sort of tire performance or ERS on it.
Exactly. He has pretty much sealed his race's fate, despite being on the best possible strategy, because mediums, once again, for whatever reason, have the least amount of wear out of softs and hards. Again, I don't know how to explain it, but they do. They have the least amount of wear. They have like 5%, whereas softs and hards have like 8% a lap. I don't know how to explain it, but they just do. And he using up all of his ERS and all of that stuff has just essentially screwed up his race. I mean, where will he come out? Let's just see. He'll come out ahead of Vicious, okay.
Yeah.
But then again, look at the gap to Vicious. At this point, Jose's tires are pretty much worn out. E-Dog, Rossi, and Nine are yet to pit, so technically he's in P1 at this point. But then look at Vicious. He's only a couple tenths away from his teammate. Obviously, his teammate is not going to hold him up. That's for sure. So that's going to be minimum time loss for him.
Hopefully that is the case, because we have seen these guys getting feisty with each other. So hopefully, they work as a team and, let him pass.
Yeah.
And he does let him.
Nope, he does not. He does not let him by.
They do make contact. So
why? Why are they doing this to each other? I don't understand. Like, Wizard, why is he being greedy? His teammate is on fresh tires. Clearly, multiple seconds a lap faster. Just let him by.
Also, we have seen, I think the main thing is that you do have to realize if your teammate, if you are further away from the championship, and one thing you have of control is of your constructor championship, the main thing is that you focus as a team and get in those points and not fight with each other. Because obviously Alfa Romeo boys who, they're very consistent, they, make sure they always have that sort of teamwork going on. And you can clearly see why they are P1 in the constructors and it's not the Alpha Tauri boys.
Exactly. They just endlessly fight each other like no tomorrow, and it's just hurting them, to be honest. Vicious gets past 9 because 9 has just comes out on fresher tires, so he'll have 8% lesser wear on his 5% lesser wear on his tires. Mist is yet to pit, so Vicious is technically P2. Jose is a little bit far ahead, but then again with a complete close to an empty battery. Oh, what's happened here? There's a collision. That is Vatal Bihari Vajpayee in the wall on the apex of turn 1. So clearly someone did something here, because that is otherwise quite impossible to do yourself. Oh, that is Gyashiv Guru and Aishwarya Raikkonen having a collision. They're very, very close to 1. And Gyashiv Guru gets spun around. He is down to P3. P13, P14. Yeah, he's just gonna drop back down on positions, but something's happening with these, with the with the Haas guys,
Yeah.
because one's maybe potentially having collisions with others. Actually, I think Aishwarya and Vettel were both right next to each other, so it could be that there was a teammate collision that has happened, and that could have been the result of them, of Vettel spinning out on the apex of turn one. As we can see, 9 closing in on Vicious. Jose is 6 seconds ahead. Could have been more,
Yeah.
but okay, Stylisan is still disconnected.
Yeah.
See
And
Rossi and Aishwarya Raikkonen still
Raikkonen,
fighting it
yeah,
out.
still fighting it out, and Wizard of Oz picks up a 3-second penalty. Can we see the penalty? The amount. Okay, so Jose with a 6 seconds. Okay, so we didn't notice that. Okay, so Jose clearly not now net P1. It's going to be Vicious because of the 5.7, 5.5 now. And yeah, it's not working out well for him. And we talked about how crucial the time penalty plays out. And yeah, right now not looking good for Jose, because not only is he going to lose position to Vicious, he's going to lose position to 9 as well.
Exact. Oh,
And okay,
and to
so
Mist as well now.
yeah, so Jose clearly not understanding the concept of the white line on the track. So yeah,
Oh, actually,
now
ABD. Apologies, because Mist is yet to pit. He goes into the pits, but
pit,
yeah, ABD is in P4.
yeah, and ABD is now P4, and yeah, now the best thing they can hope for is that they do, at least one of the Mercedes drivers get to keep the podium, because Vision is right behind ABD as well.
Yeah, Wizard of Oz and oh, who's that?
Okay,
One of the. Okay,
okay.
okay.
The Haas boys clearly, having some sort of Mario Kart going on over there. And yeah, and 9 obviously following very closely to Vicious. So this battle is basically essentially for the lead because of Jose's penalties. So yeah, let's see what goes through. And further down, we see Rossi is also right behind Nirvana. So he's also hopefully trying to make that move count for P9. We're getting a lot of teammate battles, right? Between that, also not the clean kind, especially with all the contacts involved.
Yeah, exactly. I think the AlphaTauri guys are setting a trend, the wrong kind of trend, but a
Yeah,
trend nonetheless,
yeah,
of teammates just not giving each other any space, having all sorts of collisions, and yeah, it's just. I don't know. Everyone's just being quite greedy. I think you're in a team for a reason. It is your goal, whether you like the person or not, whether you like the way they drive or not. You still are a team, right?
yeah,
It is down to you to make sure that you guys do your absolute best to win the constructors. And if your teammate is in the potential of winning a WDC, then he wins the WDC. You try to be the best wingman, and clearly these guys are forgetting that essential part, because if you look at the long term sort of things, we have a prize pool for tier 1, and we see amazing teamwork in tier 1, because the drivers at the end of the day, they don't care who who gets that prize pool, who ends up where. All they need is that, for them, despite the prize pool being only for the drivers in the standings, they still work with each other to make sure that they can get the constructors, because that's more of a pride and joy. Because we've all seen what happens in real life when teammate battles take place. It's not a good sight to be seen for anyone, and in the end, you end up losing. And clearly, that is the case that's happening over here as well. So I wonder if in the future, if we do decide to add a prize pool for tier 2, maybe the greediness will go up even higher, since clearly already without one, they fight like They fight
Yeah.
like there is no tomorrow.
And as you can see, missed right up the tail of Nirvana. So he's clearly lining up for a move, and I think this will be pretty much a straightforward overtake, but he's not able to move even with Nirvana's lights flashing. So either he's spamming all the ERS he has, or he has a very low downforce setup, or both.
Yeah, I mean, he could barely keep up there on the straight with Nirvana. Clearly running a higher downforce because he's caught up in the corners and he has passed Nirvana in the corners. So, higher downforce compared to Nirvana, that's for sure.
Wizard of Oz had written in the live chat a couple of times back, like some time back, he was written, "We weren't fighting, and I'm not greedy." Okay.
Okay, but
if you
why are
go-
you typing in the chat? Shouldn't you be driving?
Okay, whatever you say, buddy, and you know,
Very close for collision there between Mist and the Aston Martin. There is a move behind them as well between Nirvana and Wizard of Oz. Yeah, I think he's decided to focus on the race now rather than the YouTube chat at this point.
also one thing we did miss is fighting power. He said you had the best intro, so simply, nice one. You had the best intro, I guess.
That could also be referring to the season intro, but okay. We'll take the thanks anyways. Mist getting passed up into P9, and maybe Wizard of Oz could also get past. Yes, he does. Flies past the driver. Anyways, Nirvana is watching this battle unfold in front of him with very little ERS remaining. I think with 10 laps to go, we'll see another round of pit stops soon from a couple of these drivers. And talking about pit stops, look at the front. Just look at the leaderboard. 9 is a second and a half away from Jose.
Yeah.
Jose, who pitted much earlier in the hopes of pulling off an undercut, has lost all of that time.
And with the
And
time penalties, it just even become worse.
exactly. And I mean, anyways, he's on a two-stop strategy. So, anyways, he'll have to pit. But then a two-stop strategy only works optimally when the driver you're trying to fight with doesn't come into your DRS, which he has. If you go and see, 13% DRS, whereas 25% DRS, whereas 30% DRS. So Jose clearly lacking that, ERS levels. His engine power will definitely be bogged down because of that. And at the end of the day, it's going to be a very tough battle for him. And he picks up another 3-second time penalties, or 12 seconds worth of time penalties at this point.
Yeah.
Not sure what he's trying to do, but I know for a fact what BK19 is trying to do, and that is trying to keep his P7. Clearly failed at that.
I mean, the more time penalties he picks up, he's going to have more time penalties than points if this keeps continuing. So I think the best case scenario for him is to, just chill out, and Josero obviously overtaken by 9 already. So not only he has lost that, on-track lead, he's also... And there's contact between Mist and BK19. And BK19 goes into the wall while trying to make a turn.
Mist goes into the wall while trying to make the turn. And that's an end plate loss. Yeah, I think Mist, you'll have he might have to pit here because again that downforce loss is just not worth driving with. He can go on to softs, try and snatch away the fastest lap at this point. And even though he won't be in the top 10, it's still, will give his competitors, the fastest lap. So they have one lesser point. So at the end of the day, it is not too bad of a situation for this.
Who has the most number of penalties? Is it just Jose with 12?
I think it is Jose, yeah. Oh no, Vipul. Vipul so with 15, but he's last anyways.
So they are clearly having a battle of who can pick up more time penalties. And And also
I'm not sure if you noticed there or not, Darknight.
Yeah.
But he broke his wing as he was going in. Oh yeah, he's completely gone. as he tried to go into the pits.
Hey,
So
simply he's just trying to make it lighter for the pit stop boys. So it's okay.
it's actually more of an inconvenience switching out a wing that's completely broken. But okay, regardless, Vicious is hunting down Jose, and Jose at this point is praying for a safety car. And nope, he dives off into the pits. But again, that two stop would have only worked if Vicious and Nine didn't catch up. They caught up. That two stop is not going to work, especially with the 12-second time penalty. So
Also,
that is
yeah.
close to the end of the race for Jose. And now, wait, they're double stacking. They're double stacking. The Mercedes boys are double stacking.
Yeah, but I think yeah, they I think the gap was.
Oh, ABD's held. ABD's held. He's held up a little bit. Has a good pit stop, but then he was held up for like a second there. Not good. I was hopefully thinking that maybe ABD can go a little bit longer, and maybe
Yeah.
then pull off the fastest lap, or try and challenge for the podium. But I guess today we will see no Mercedes on the podium.
Yeah, and I think it's down to them only. I mean, with ABD, it's understandable. He was, further back the grid. He was making that charge. So for him, I think it's a pretty decent race on his side. But for Jose Hero, it was, with the amount of penalties he picked up and, the battles he got into just after getting out of the pit. So I think that hindered him from potentially taking that race win on track.
Exactly, that is definitely a big hindrance. I'm not sure why 9 has gone into the pits. His tires, these mediums can go on for like 14 laps. I don't think there's an urgent need for 9 to pit, but I guess if he has decided to do so, because he won't be too far behind anyways, maybe he'll come out ahead of Jose.
Yeah, he should come out ahead of Jose.
The pit lane is quite long. 25 seconds is the average pit lane loss that he has, and yeah, he'll be comfortably ahead of Jose. So Jose's attempt at an undercut has gone once again to a little bit of a waste.
Yeah, and 9 has to now make up that 8-second gap to E-Dog, and yeah.
Should actually be quite easy because the new softs, obviously, as you know, they're like a little bit faster than very worn, like 9-10 lap worn out, mediums. At this point, the mediums will be way above 50%, whereas his
Yeah.
tires will only be like 2-3% at this point. So
But I think Vicious. I mean, he didn't have to pit, especially with Vicious around. I mean, they were battling for the lead and they had a pretty comfortable gap. So I don't think this was really a necessary move, but maybe he was not feeling comfortable with the tires he was on. Obviously, it was losing performance. So yeah, I guess he rather take that a secured P2 with fastest lap. Also, Vicious pits, so clearly everyone is going for that two stopper.
yeah, and I think that was pretty much decided anyways, because that one stopper will not work in the slightest. Two stopper is the way to go, and yeah, two stopper is what they're doing. Vicious goes on obviously to a soft. I think 9 and Jose have undercut Vicious together, but Vicious will be on much fresher tires.
And it's going to make so much of a difference.
Massive difference, especially towards the end, because as we mentioned earlier, 7 to 8% a lap wear on the softs. So having that 7 to 8% less will definitely be a blessing of some sort, and that will definitely help Vicious try and catch in. Although a P3 at this point, even if E-Dog doesn't pit, let's just say, is secured because of Jose's blessing of 12-second penalties.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, 12 seconds. So
I think Jose is going to drop P7, something like that. So yeah, it is not looking good for him.
yeah,
But,
he has the pace to be there on the podium, but the track limits again very
narrow
crucial
track,
on this
yeah.
track.
It's a very narrow track, very fast track. So you miss the line slightly, and you're pretty much off the track. So yeah, as much as it is a very flowing circuit, it is also one of the tracks that contributes to the top.
and ABD trying to pull off a move on Wizard of Oz. His nose stuck right on the diffuser of Wizard's car, but he was lucky to get away at that point because, generally speaking, if there was any damage, they would have all been sent flying away, and I think there would have definitely been a safety car out with 4 laps to go.
Also, with Wizard going side by side, and he went over that curb. I think that unsettled his car, and it's not the best place to go side by side, especially through the double right-hander.
Exactly, that is not the ideal place, and I think even everybody knows that, to be honest, but not sure why he completely forgot that, maybe thinking that he would give him way, but yeah, he should not expect to be given way.
With 4 laps to go, I think these guys are like, at this point, it's pretty much, open season for them. They're like, let's just go for it rather than, stay back.
Exactly. Vision still on the rear of ABD, obviously, because he has the fresher tires. Doesn't want to give ABD the way just yet. He wants to stay there. 9, I mean, will obviously fly past E-Dog, who's yet to pit.
Yeah.
Vicious picking up 3 seconds.
Okay.
So that could
Yeah,
change
so
a few things around.
few
Obviously, it
things,
won't
yeah.
promote up ABD a position. But with E-Dog and 9 in the mix, maybe could change things. Or maybe we could see 9 picking up his first ever race win in IRC.
Yeah.
3 laps remain.
Yeah, Vicious with that fastest lap, so that's 1 point to him. And and obviously ABD further back. I think he got caught with all the battles around him, and he's like further back. And as we can see, Vision going almost off the track to make that overtake, but he was right on the limit, and he's up to P5 now.
Yeah, and this is a battle for like proper on-track position as well, since
Yeah.
none of them have a penalty.
Yeah.
I think ABD's main goal over here is to just make sure that he can slow
Okay, there's-
down
Okay, there's
lapped car
Introdu-
of Whipple.
no, there's a car moving very slowly.
Whipple.
Oh, okay. Why
He's
is he?
What? Why is he stopped?
Why is his
puncher!
car- Puncher! Oh, we got the first puncher.
First ever
Wow.
puncher on the
Puncher.
front left. His rear tires are fine. He can go. What is he doing? Is he adding any throttle? What? He's on
No.
full throttle and his car isn't moving.
Yeah,
The yellow
I
flags
think
have
that
been
game.
on for so long. Is this going to be a safety car?
Oh, late safety car. Also, this is.
Is there going to be a safety car? Okay, he's pulled off to the right. He's trying to
Okay.
gain momentum somehow, going on the slippery bits.
So-
He's
So this is what happens when you have a puncher, I guess, because we haven't faced this at all. This is the first time I'm seeing it in a while.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
he's trying his best to recover the car. It's getting impossible to move that car even on the
yeah.
slippery bits of the circuit.
How
He's
old is his tires? 14 laps. Wow. Okay, that's
and he has
very odd.
half the track to go. Oh, he's just retired on track. Yeah, he's given up, which is completely fair. Jose Hero and Wish is fighting it out on the track. Jose having to concede that P4, and now Vision will have to push like hell so that he can get within 12 seconds of Jose Hero and pick up that P4.
Yeah, and Steel Sneeze with that fastest lap, so he'll be taking away the point from Vicious, who had it previously, and obviously Jose with no ERS whatsoever. He's still spamming even though he doesn't have any. So yeah, he's clearly going for a very, very aggressive strategy.
Too aggressive, some might say.
Yeah, and obviously 9 has pulled away, and I think this battle has kind of helped 9 because he's now comfortably in the lead. And who was that who got Fury? Did Fury get a
Fury.
fight?
Yeah, Fury. He's last anyways.
Yeah.
Although he's on soft, so he can get by stealthy. Although stealthy Sandy is on AI, so
Yeah.
don't think that's going to be an issue in the slightest.
I think the white line concept in Qatar is, you know, it's not well received, I guess, by others.
Well received by most of these drivers, I think.
Yeah.
White line is there to signify the track's limits, and clearly everyone wants a new Qatar circuit, which they will get in 2026, which is, in my opinion, a very bad move because this track is an absolute beauty. At least for me, I love this track. Whereas if you have that track, I'm not sure if you've seen it or not. You make one mistake, you lock up, and then you're in, and you'll end up in Abu Dhabi after if you do end up making that mistake, or you'll be a plane for a very brief second. So it's not a good track. Let's just say that. Double overtake on E-Dog possible here on the final lap. Jose Hira has a look around the outside. There is a lapped car of Aishwarya Raikkonen, who is interfering very slightly in this battle, and from very slightly, I mean, yes, his car is not there per se, but then it is giving dirty air to all of these guys behind. So Jose, who'd expect to only have dirty air of 2 cars, has now dirty air of 3 cars, and that is going to hinder him for sure, as this battling with E-Dog is not helping him because vision is well within those 12 seconds, and he can lose 2 whole positions right here in just a matter of half a lap that remains in this race.
Yeah, and I think it's now pretty crucial E-Dog to keep that gap in, because he can get a potential P2 on his card. Even a P3 or decent result, but you rather have a position, an extra position on your hands for that extra points for the constructors.
Exactly, and one person who will have plenty of points for the constructors is 9 in the McLaren, coming across the line to win his first ever IRC Grand Prix, and especially at Qatar as well. Jose is down into P4, and I think it's pretty obvious he'll be down to P5 as they come across the line.
And E-Dog just missing that P2 by 2/10, so that battle with Jose certainly did not help him. But still, nonetheless, a great result. Again, the Alfa Romeo boys showing how teammates should be working together, getting that P3, P4, and gaining that extra lead in the Constructors' Championship. Also, good job by the Mercedes boys, P5 and P6. Not bad for them as well. A whole lot of points considering the Alpha Tauri boys are P2 and P7.
So, yeah, it's going to be a very interesting battle for P2, I guess, in the constructors.
Exactly, and who is the driver that remains to cross the line? PK. Oh, PK has a puncture, I think. He's going for. No, he's out of fuel. PK is out of fuel.
So we got to see all of them. We got out of ERS, out of fuel, tire punctures, and Deadshot, who's 30 seconds behind PK.
Wait, what? Is this a glitch?
Is he a lap down? No, but he did not.
Huh?
Okay.
What?
That's interesting.
Is he?
Was he like that far off? Is he that?
Now, why did it give him the checkered flag when he's in at the end? Okay, I don't know. I don't know what this game is.
Let's put okay.
Oh.
Okay, whatever that might be.
Decent.
Yeah, so PK P12. So
good points for him nonetheless after the whole
race.
After
the whole incident. Yeah, and good race. A very interesting race, especially for that lead. For a long time, we saw Vicious and 9 fighting it out, and Jose Hero with that amount of penalties that kind of screwed himself up for the potential win.
Yep.
But E-Dog again, very good drive from him, P3, and the Alfa Romeo boys doing well in 3 consecutive races.
Exactly, and this is your final finishing order. I apologize. I just need to go through this, but 9 takes away the win. Okay.
Okay, we can't see any sector times. So
Huh?
wow. So
What?
clearly the drivers are invisible during the race. So
Okay, I guess I
uh,
can pick up this, but
yeah,
what? I mean, does that even make what?
we are just to all the viewers, we are just picking up new
This is
bugs in the game.
so I'll explain why we do this. Essentially, we do this to show if in case any driver had any penalties and they couldn't record, you know, they can come to the stream and pick it. But yeah, that didn't show anything at all. That was really weird.
Just new bugs by police.
How in the race director? I don't get it.
Like you said,
Super weird.
it's Cody's just new stuff every day. So at this point, we are just not even shocked. We're just like, okay, that's another glitch.
Yep, and let's get our podium interview guys in for the race. So it was EP10 was there as well, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and we need to get 9 in. But yeah, that was one hell of a race, that's for sure.
Yeah, a great race, and we got to see a lot of battles, especially for the lead between Vision and Nine. Great job by them to take that P1 and P2.
Yep. Where is 9? We need 9.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
EP10. Yeah,
10, episode 10, whatever. uh, one very interesting thing is obviously, as you mentioned, all of them did yeah, we had pretty much
I think I can.
covered up everything.
I'll move EP10. Yeah,
Yeah, go for it.
he's in, and yeah, we just need the race winner. Which
Who is taking his time, that's for sure. Okay, I think in the meanwhile, Darknight, you can get start with our P3 sitter.
yeah, so EP10, a great race from your side, taking that P3, just missing out on the P2 by 2 tenths. So talk us through your race.
That was quite an intense race. I'm absolutely dripping in sweat at the moment. Uh, yeah, starting with the OFU, I think it was pretty respectable. P4 and 5 for the team. That was our plan to stay amongst it. I know that P1 pole position has quite a lot of work to do, but yeah, P4 and P5 quite respectable at the start. Sprint was good. Again, once again, we finished P4 and 5. So good points for the team and increase our lead in the championship for constructors at least. And it was no incidents. It was quite a fair race. And the main race I had to extend the mediums to the death. I was, I think, on 78% on the mediums because I was thinking of pitting for soft, but I felt like I would come up in too much traffic. And I noticed that the Mercedes, I think, and Vicious as well, they had 12 seconds of penalty and 3 seconds. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let's take it to the end. Like, let's gamble and at least try to get a podium. Because even if the 12-second penalty guy had gone ahead, I think I still had a position in that. And plus the 3 second, which I just lost around by 2:10, that was just because I think the Mercedes tried to overtake me on one of the corners, and I lost a bit of time in that corner. Otherwise, P2 would be all but confirmed. But P3 is nonetheless, love it.
Yeah, and we obviously got to see good teamwork from both of you guys. We saw when you guys were pitting, we guys are giving each other good space. So congratulations on that P3. I'm sure you might get a P1 hopefully in the next race because you are getting really really close to the top tier pace.
Yes, I'm almost there. I'm almost there.
Is there anything to add, Simply?
Nope, just congratulations on that P3, and hopefully next time around it's maybe a P1. Moving on to our P2 finisher, Vicious. Uh, Not the best of races for you. I mean, strategy was quite nice, of course. The strategy worked out well, but then just the stuff with your teammate, both of you clearly, colliding with each other and, slowing each other down. What exactly happened there? Because race after race, we have seen that both, either of you who ends up on the podium says that you'll work together, and then at the end of it, it's just turning into a hot mess on track between the two of you.
I think Vicious is muted.
Yeah, he's muted. Vicious.
Hello. Oh,
Yes.
sorry, my mic was muted. I'm so sorry. So I was saying that it wasn't intentional on both our parts. The thing was, I came out of the pit on fresh mediums, and he was still yet to pit on the hards. So I thought that he's letting me by going to the right hand side, and I can take the position. But he had the plans to give me on the next straight. So that was a miscommunication, and we don't sit in a VC together. So as he can't talk, he's on PS4. So he cannot use Discord, so we are not in a communication. So that is the reason that contact happened. I don't think it was anything major because it might have lost us like 1 or 2 seconds, but then again, I couldn't have got P1 if not for that incident, and he couldn't have gone any higher too. So we move on.
Yeah, I think. I mean, there is, as far as as far as I know, I think maybe even EP can confirm because he is on the PS. I think there is a Discord VC option on the.
So what he is saying that his PS is too old and it lags a lot when he tries to join with Discord inbuilt
Okay,
Discord. So that is the reason he
interesting.
doesn't want to take any risk.
Mm-hmm.
I respect that. It's his call anyway.
Okay, I see how it is. Okay, all right then. Hopefully, you guys have more teamwork then from the next race onwards, because halfway into the season, and then there's still a little bit of fire, at least on track between the two of you. At least that's what it looks like, anyways. But
I
yeah,
want to keep the fire on as tier.
I think
yeah, his
Vicious audio cut off.
internet is yeah. So, anyways, congratulations, Vicious,
Yeah,
on the P2.
congratulations, Vicious.
Yeah,
Moving
thank
on
you.
to our
And
first.
congratulations, Nine. Beautiful game, man. Beautiful game.
Yep, and thank you, Vicious, once again. Moving on to our first time race winner in the Indian racing community, Nine. How do you feel after that race? Clearly wasn't the easiest of races for you. However, you still triumphed. Obviously, a lot of things went into it with Jose picking up 12 seconds, his strategy not working out too well because he got held up in traffic, and then, obviously, Vicious and his teammate having that whatever that was. So, how do you feel winning a race for the first time?
Uh, I mean, honestly, I'm thrilled that with this race victory. So, I mean, given that Qatar is one of my favorite tracks, so winning here obviously is the icing on the top of the whole thing. And honestly, you know, getting through all that traffic after starting P15 in the sprint race was actually what helped me out in the feature race because I wasn't certain if I would have been able to make all those moves in the main race.
Yeah.
So the sprint race actually played a very vital role in today's the entire weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I had a couple of great battles with Vicious. Initially, I was worried that when the two of us were close enough and Jose Hero was on the soft, the two of us were on hards. So I was actually thinking whether wishes would actually work together and understand that I'm not trying to race him too hard for now, because I wanted to create a gap behind and close in the gap to the car ahead. And fortunately he understood as much, and we didn't battle each other too hard in the very beginning. We just traded DRS on the main straight and closed the gap as much as we could. And then after a point, when I got to know that the Mercedes ahead is going to go for a two stopper, I knew I had to push, so I made sure that I could keep my pace on track and keep my car on track as well, and not to accrue any penalties as such. So I think all in all, it was a great weekend, a great race for me, and given that it was my first in IRC, that's even kind of better.
Great stuff. A very good way to sum up your race as well. And how would you say, can we expect to see you more as we go on, further into the race,
I mean,
into the season? Sorry.
the thing that went wrong is that last weekend my graphic card got burnt. So in order to make it to the race today, I had to play at a gaming cafe over here.
Oh,
So I mean, if I can get a new PC before the next race weekend, you will certainly see more of me on the grid. If not, I will try and make some arrangements so that I can participate, because it was actually quite fun.
yeah. Okay. That's the first time ever in IRC, I think, in the history of IRC, where someone has gone to a gaming cafe just to race and won a race there.
Won a race.
So-
A very dedicated victory, not just
Exactly, and I think at this point you completely deserve it, man. If anyone had any
I'm
doubts,
just glad the dedication paid off.
yeah, I mean, if
Certainly.
anyone had any doubts on whether or not he deserved it, for whatever reason, all those doubts are cleared, because this is next level dedication, to be honest.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, hopefully next time around you're not in a gaming cafe, but rather at the comfort of your home and racing there. And who knows, maybe next time when that does happen, you win by 10 seconds, huh?
Yes, I hope that too.
All right. Anyways, congrats on the P1. And unfortunately, this is it for our tier 2 guys. But not unfortunate for you guys, because there is still another race that will be coming. That is the tier 1 guys. Tonight at 8 p.m. IST on the same track. We will be fighting it out for the glory. And once again, multiple strategies, maybe a puncher, definitely not anyone in a gaming cafe, but yeah, it is going to be quite fun. That has been it from myself and Darknight. One small thing before, of course, bringing back my old tradition of wishing you guys to hydrate, because once again the winters are pretty much over, at least in the southern parts of India, and yeah, it is starting to heat up, so make sure you stay hydrated, make sure you're drinking plenty of water, and of course not losing out on too much sweat. Thank you so much for joining in this afternoon. This has been it from IRC.